Hey there, this is Real Talk Baseball and CarloBaseball. With me, as always, is ErnieOrange. We have a great show for you guys today. Playoff baseball is already on its last limbs. We're going to the championship series. We have 4 teams advancing. But before we get into those 4 teams, we want to go and recap a little bit of the ALDS and the NLDS. But, Ernie, what do you think of the playoffs so far, man?
Whoa. It's been an exciting MLB postseason so far for 2025. It's been one of the most fun to watch. Pitchers are dominating in this league. Seems like some teams are red hot offensively, and then some teams can't seem to hit these days. Well, we have a lot of baseball left to go. This championship series is going to bring the best out of all 4 teams, and I'm excited to see who's going to come out on top.
You mentioned pitching has been at an all-time high, and I've seen some series where I'm like, okay, the pitching looks good, but look at the hitting. The hitting is really, really low. They're not hitting dingers like they're used to. And when you do see a home run, you're like, oh, damn, who hit that home run? And you look at is like Polanco. What the hell? Names that you don't ever like get to hear during the season. You get to hear like, big time names like Judge. You get to hear like Guerreros, and right now you're not hearing that like as much. But let's get into the first series, man. The Blue Jays and the Yankees, dude. What did you think about that series? And did you you did pick the Blue Jays to advance. So what did you think about that?
You know what? All year round, the Blue Jays were just a better team overall against the Yankees. They were playing at all-time high. Offensively, they've been hitting really great this year with George Springer, Bo Bichette, Dalton Varsho, and Vladdy was just real hot. And then in this series, you saw that. You saw how well they hit against these Yankees pitchers. They dominated Vladdy, Varsho. They've just been hitting over 500 right now. Even Ernie Clement's been a superhero, a small guy that's putting the ball into plate. Pitching-wise, wow. Trey Jasavich, what a stud. He's been pitching lights out with his vertical delivery. Seems like the Yankee players were all fooled, cannot hit him. Kevin Gossman as well with his off speed. This Yankee team had nothing for these top 2 starters, and this Blue Jay team showed why they were the better team this series.
It's crazy because I picked the Yankees after they beat the Red Sox. I'm like, okay, I'll go with the Yankees because they had good momentum going in, right? But just looking at how the Yankees were built and how they got there. You had all these older players playing for the Yankees, and you had like your Paul Goldschmidt, your Bellingers. You had all these players that came to the Yankees and was hopeful for better defense, hopeful for better, at bats, and it didn't get there. I heard a lot of people say they were only built for 162 games, not for the playoffs. And a 5-game series, a 7-game series, it wasn't going to cut it for them. And they are going to go into the offseason, with all these free agencies. So we're going to see a totally different team next year. And is it going to be as built as it was this year and the year before? I don't know. And then Aaron Boone, is he going to be managing the Yankees? As of right now, he's still under contract. They haven't said anything. They're probably waiting for all these playoffs to be done. But did it surprise me? It didn't surprise me that the Blue Jays beat them up. It's just surprised me that the Yankees didn't have enough fight. Only Aaron Judge showed up, man. Everyone else was quiet. And they needed everyone else to step up, and it didn't happen, dude. And that's why the Blue Jays won. And I'm not taking away anything away from the Blue Jays. You mentioned everything. Your Tocayo, Ernie Clement, dude. he was one of those names too when he hit a home run. I'm like, what? Who? Like, who's this? So I'm like, man.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that's why the Yankees got eliminated, and that's why the Blue Jays passed forward. But do you expect the Yankees to do anything in the offseason? Do you think they're going to fire Aaron Boone? And that's the $1 million question right now, right?
The way it's looked, I think Aaron Boone would already have been dismissed given his performance this year. But looks like upper management is just going to keep Aaron Boone. I mean, I think they're pretty satisfied with what he's done, with what he has, the talent he's been given. I mean, you got to consider was given some aging players like a Paul Goldschmidt to lead first base. Mm-hmm. Yes, he's was an MVP, but he's no longer that same guy. Cody Bellinger has been inconsistent for the past couple seasons. Yes, he's opting out for free agency. I think it's time to move on from him and maybe go get another lefty bat out there that's much younger, fresher, with a better IQ out there in the baseball field. Because this Yankee team, I think it was past their prime. And honestly, they need to get younger because Aaron Judge is wasting his prime years right now with this Yankee roster. And I'm not sure if this is going to be the answer, but maybe a new manager, maybe a fresh start would be a great thing for this Yankee team. I just feel like upper management is just too happy with Aaron Boone right now. He's like their puppet. They do everything they want him to do. And it's the reason why Aaron Boone's going to stick around.
Yeah. And notable free agents this offseason is Cody Bellinger, Trent Grisham, Paul Goldschmidt, Devin Williams, and Luke Weaver. So those are big time players that are leaving the Yankees. So enough about the Yankees. They lost the series. We're moving on with the Blue Jays. The Blue Jays have a good roster. Yesovich, I think, or Yesovich, I don't know how to say it. How's the correct way of saying it? But that kid has good movement on his fastball. I think he's the X factor for the Blue Jays, if you ask me, right? Or am I wrong? He's the one that has the nastiest stuff on that pitching staff so far, right?
He sure does. He sure does.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to the next series. In the next series,
Carlos, I'm cutting off a little bit. Yes, but he's definitely one of the pitchers right now with the nastiest stuff in this game for sure.
All right, let's move on, man, to the Mariners and the Tigers, dude. The Mariners and Tigers, that series went all the way to game 5. We got to see a lot of studs. We got to see a lot of pitching. There was 14 pitchers used in that series in the last game, the 5 game. What did you think about that series, and why did the Mariners take the win in that series?
Well, first and foremost, this Tiger team's, my hat's off to them. They played a great series. They did this much they could as possible. Tarek Skubal was being that true ace that he really is, getting another 6-inning, 13 strikeout performance. Seems like this guy's like a natural. He's unhittable. And then this Tigers bullpen was lights out to all series. They tried their really best to compete with this star-studded Mariners team. They were this close, going 15 innings in a game 5, but unfortunately, they missed out on that offensive power they really needed from their top players like Torkelson and Riley Green. I feel like they didn't show up like what we expected, but at the same time, they did better than we expected, right? This Mariners team was unhittable too. Talking about, they were also not playing so well offensively. Given the stars they had, you were expecting huge offensive numbers. You did not get that from the best as they could, but man, what's wrong with this Mariners team? Even though they advance, I have a lot of question marks going forward because offensively they just can't seem to get it going. They're a very hot, streaky team.
Yeah. Uh-oh, what happened, Ernie? Are you still there? Uh-oh. All right, well, let me go into the Tigers, man. The Tigers in that last game, they did the 2 through 5th batter. Did not hit. They went 0 for 23, 2 walks, and 10 Ks. When you have that type of performance, and you said it, Torkelson didn't show up. You had your big-time players from the Tigers did not show up. And, the only ones that did show up was your pitching staff, but the pitching can't hold off a bunch of runs because at one point, they're going to make a mistake pitch, and someone's going to score. Fortunate for the Mariners, that happened to them. And we were texting back and forward. We were saying, hey, how come Crawford's not bunting in 2 strikes? That was horrible to me. That's why I went all the way to the 15th inning. I did not agree with some of the things that they were saying and they were doing. With J.P. Crawford, there was 3 times he had a man on second and first with no outs, and he did not put the ball down. He did not bunt him over. That's why the game continued and continued and continued. So you're right. With the Mariners, what's going on with their hitting? Julio Rodriguez hasn't been hitting. The big thumper, he's been getting hits here and there, which has been helping the Mariners. He's the best hitter they have. But then you have Yoner Suarez. He hasn't been hitting either. Like, where is he at? And then the other one, Naylor, dude, he's been hitting the crap out of the ball. I think they need to move him up on that lineup. Having him on number 6, I think it's too deep in that lineup. I think they need to move them a little bit more up if they want to score some runs. It's going to be different when they move to the next series with them. But I just feel like the management for the Mariners needs to start stepping up and start putting those little plays for the Mariners, like the bunting and all these things. Like, and you text me, dude. You text me and you said, I would have bunt him with 2 strikes. I would have done the same thing. I think a lot of people agree with you. And I agree with, like, doing that. Were you surprised they didn't do that?
You know what? Yeah, especially it's the second time around. I just couldn't believe what I was watching. I mean, the small ball is the way to win these games, tight, close games. You
Yeah,
cannot depend on the long ball and these playoff postseason matchups. That pitching is just unhittable these days. And if you play small ball, you advance the runners and get these runners inside home and win this game and stop depleting your bullpen like the way you did. Now you're going into game one. You don't even know who you're going to start. You're going to start Bryce Miller because he's the only guy really available.
yeah,
Everyone else has just been worked for the past 5 games. So now you got this Blue Jays team that's been resting for a couple of days. Their 1-2 starters are warmed up, ready to go. And you got Shane Bieber to come in game 3 and lock it in too. So
yeah,
this is where this Mariners team could have finished the series much sooner. Offensively, they just couldn't get it going. And that's been their issue since the trade deadline.
yeah.
They've been hot and streaky. When they get hot, they're one of the scariest teams in baseball. But if they're cold like they were in this last series, it's time to bring up a red flag because that's a huge concern for me.
Yeah. And do you think it's the stadium though? I started noticing that when they play playoffs in the Mariners Stadium, when they go to Seattle, usually the runs are lower. There's not a lot of runs scored in that playoff time, and maybe that's something that the owners need to start looking into in their stadium and saying, hey, there's not a lot of runs being scored. We're not scoring. So the opposition's not scoring either. What is it going to take to win these games? And using your whole bullpen, using your starters, because you had to use Castillo in that bullpen because you were running out of your bullpen. So the crazy thing about what we just mentioned is that they're going to the next series against the Blue Jays, which the Blue Jays are rested. You just called it out. And it's going to be interesting to see, because I just feel like maybe a lot of people were picking the Mariners, but because the series that they had with the Tigers, are they changing their mind? I picked the Mariners to win against the Blue Jays, but I don't know, man. After what I saw against the Tigers and how they depleted their bullpen and how all their starters had to come in that game and pitch, I feel different right now. I don't know if I can pick the Mariners because of that. It's just the Blue Jays are too rested. They're I don't know. They're in a high right now because they beat the Yankees, dude. Or am I wrong?
Yeah, I mean, you're totally right. This Blue Jays team is just playing at another level right now. Offensively, everything's clicking for them. When they go up to bat, Vladdy Guerrero has just been so locked in. Everything that comes down the middle, he's crushing it. Dalton Varsho, the same thing. Ernie Clement, the same thing. You have George Springer that has not even been that hot this season. And so they got so many weapons. Even with Boccia not being in the lineup, they've been finding ways to get guys to still get on base. They're playing well defensively and making sure to get those crucial outs. And that's all you really need.
Yeah. Uh-oh, we lost Ernie again. Ernie, you still there? Yeah, no.
Let me see.
All right. So maybe we need to go ahead and see what predictions we're gonna have for the next series. I think with that said, that we're talking about the pitching staff being a little bit tired and going into the next series and becoming the first time going into the World Series, if they can pull this off. I don't see it happening because of that series, but I still gonna have to keep what I said in the previous series, saying that the Mariners are gonna beat the Tigers, which they did. Now getting to the championship round, the championship series against the Blue Jays, I think they have a better pitching staff than the Blue Jays, but the Blue Jays have the hitting, and the Mariners they do have the hitting as well. It's just a problem with that is that they haven't shown up, they haven't been hitting in a consistent basis, they haven't been hitting in sync. That one of them gets a hit and then the other one doesn't. Like Kyle Riley gets a hit, no one moves him over. JP Crawford comes in and he doesn't do his job as bunting him over. And I hope that changes, because if you're a baseball fan and you look at these type of games and you're looking into trying to move the runners over and he can't do it, that's when you start saying, okay, yeah, those type of situations don't come around all the time. And when they come around, and you do not execute, the other teams do take advantage of that. And the Blue Jays are a team that take advantage of everything that they're giving, because if they're giving the chance to make a double play, they'll go ahead and do that. They have the type of defense that can go ahead and provide that. Do they have the greatest defense? They don't, but they can go ahead and execute some of those plans. With the Mariners, if they go ahead and execute their things, I think they'll be in good shape. But that's the problem. We don't know what type of Mariners team we're going to get in this next championship round. And I'm gonna stick to my guns. I'm gonna keep the Mariners only because I picked them in the DS. So, Ernie, go ahead, man. Who do you got? Can you hear me?
Yeah, man. I think what I mentioned previously, the Blue Jays team right now, I think they got the country of Canada behind their back, supporting them. I think they want to finally have a Canadian team in the World Series, and I see them making it to the championship World Series bound for sure. In
All
6
right.
games.
6 games. Ooh, this one's a 7 series.
6
So yeah,
games will it be? Yep.
yeah. This is a 7 series game. So best out of 7. Whoever wins it goes to the World Series. And I'm just gonna say that the Blue Jays haven't been to the World Series since 1993. The Mariners have never been to the World Series. As far as they got is the ALCS, which is what they're playing right now. If they get advanced to the World Series, it'll be their first time making it there, and they'll go ahead and be proud of what they've done. They got the team to do it. The general manager went all in and went and got these players and this lineup that they have right now, and to match their pitching staff. So we'll see what happens. I'll put the predictions up, Ernie. I'll make them, and I'll put them. We'll put them on Instagram and on TikTok. All right, let's go to the NLCS, but let's talk about the DS first. Let's talk about the Cubs and the Brewers. That one was kind of crazy. The crazy thing is that we were looking at the Brewers coming and saying, "Are they a real team? Are they going to be able to perform?" The 2 first games, they proved that they belong there. The next 2 games, which were in Chicago, which were in Wrigley Field, the Cubs pulled
Yes.
it off, and it was just a back and forward thing. The team that was home won the games. And was it a interesting series to you? Was it, or did you see cut out like, oh, one team is way better than the other?
Yeah, I mean, after the first 2 games, the Brewers definitely demonstrated they were the way better team, overmatched against this Cubs team. I thought the Brewers were just going to ride the wave, but unfortunately, their hitting just went cold once they hit to Chicago. And somehow yesterday, they had a couple guys hit a couple home runs. It was a difference maker to secure that series win. But this Brewers
Yeah.
team is built to win as well. I mean, they're hungry. This team has been for a couple years already. Always there, always trying to make it away. The Dodgers are always somehow in the way. But this year, this Brewers team has it still a deep squad, given the fact that Brandon Woodruff was out with a last strain injury. But Mizorowski's been the spark in their pitching staff. And I think that guy could just change it up. And, these rookie sensations, they're coming hotter than ever, Carlos. These guys are just as talented as any of these pro major leaguers that have been in the league for a while.
That's true. You have these young guys. I just mentioned Yesevich from the Toronto Blue Jays. Now you have Mizorowski. These hard names to remember. Why don't they have easier names? But yeah, the Brewers do have a good name, a good team. It's just, why did they allow the Cubs, or is it really really hard to play in? Because you got to take that into consideration as well. The Windy City is not a easy place to play in. It's a smaller park, it's a smaller field, and every fan is on top of each player when they commit an error or they make a play, and you're just part of the game. So I'm pretty sure that's what happened with the Brewers. They got tested a little bit, and they did take a little bit time off. Those 5 days, we were talking about it last show, that the last time the Brewers did that, they kind of set off a little bit. They lost their first game, and then they went ahead and won the series, and they made it all the way to the championship series, which was in 2018, and they did play the Dodgers. So they had a lot of run-ins. The Dodgers are not the only ones that they had to beat to try to get to further. The Braves were in front of them. The Phillies were in front of them. So now that the Phillies are out, the Brewers do have a chance to make it all the way to the World Series. And the thing with them, though, is that who's going to be the one that's going to step up other than Cheerio? Because you have Cheerio that's been batting 333, And this man is always on it, dude. Like everywhere you look and he's batting, it's something impressive with this kid. And it's his second year, right? It's his second year playing in the major leagues, and he's doing really good, dude. Right?
Oh, correct.
You there?
Yeah, man, this sophomore season,
Oh,
Jackson Sure has been in another level. He's performing like we've never seen before. Sorry, man. I'll keep buffering. I'm not sure what's wrong with my internet today, guys. So I do apologize for the inconvenience. We're not having the best of Wi-Fi issues today. StreamYard, we got to talk to them, man. There's something's up with them. But
yeah.
yeah, I just want to throw out there that, this Brewers team could get hot offensively. They're a great hitting team. They put the ball to play, and things always work out for them. But now when you batch them up against this Dodgers team, they're so overmatched talent-wise. Pat Murphy just had an interview today, and or I was last night, he basically said, man, I wonder if any of these players from my Brewers team would even make the lineup in that Dodger rotation or Dodgers lineup. Imagine that.
Yeah.
The only one is Jackson Chourio. Other than that, I don't see no one else making that Dodger lineup.
I mean, you still have Christian Yelich in that lineup, which is really good. You have Perry Peralta, that's a starting pitcher, Masarovsky pitching as well. And these are all like underdog players that they've had to struggle, and they know the struggle of becoming a great player. They're great players because they were the best team in the major leagues, for the National League. And, not only that, they proved to everybody by beating the Cubs in this series, because remember, everybody has been doubting them. Is this team a real good team, and is it gonna be able to go ahead and make it to the championship round, which they already did. They already proved to everybody that they can go ahead and play with the big ones. Now looking at the Cubs, I felt like there was no pitching there, dude. They had no confidence in their pitching staff. You look at the guys that they had, and you're looking at Imanawa. Like, I didn't think that they were going to try to give him the ball for game 5, which they didn't. And he should be your ace of that staff, and he wasn't.
Right.
Like, why wasn't he?
Yeah, I just feel like the Cubs didn't trust him. I think Craig Counsell failed there. I think he going with Drew Pomeranz and like with his bullpen guys. I was just a bit confused. I mean, Craig Counsell, you're getting paid big money. I think people expect good things from you to bring to this Chicago team. But one player that really disappointed me, I mean, Managa didn't have his good stuff. I mean, I think he was just laying meatballs down the middle, and these guys took advantage of them. Now, Cal Tucker, where the heck have you been? I know you were dealing with the nagging injury all year round, but if you're going to be going to your free agency and you're not performing at a high level, I just can't pay you that type of money. I'm sorry. You're not a $400 $1 million man. I don't care what you got to say. 2 back-to-back years with nagging injuries. That's something. And I'm really disappointed that Cal Tucker couldn't deliver. Yes, he hit a 1 home run this division series, but when the game was already, out of the lead was already over. You know what I mean? The Cubs had the game. So yeah, man. There were just a couple guys that didn't really step up for me. Michael Busch, you got to give him his flowers, hitting 4 home runs in this playoffs. PCA just tried his best. I mean, for a young kid, he's going to be the next guy. But this divisional series told the Cubs that, we don't need Cal Tucker. There's no need for him. Why pay this guy this big money contract for what?
That's true. Let me go ahead add a little bit to it. Craig Counsell used to be the manager for the Brewers, and he left the Brewers to take that big contract with Chicago. So this is a big time thing for the Brewers to beat their old manager and say, hey, look, this is what you left. We beat you up. We were the best team in the National League, and now you have to take the L, which the Brewers did show them the L in the picture. I don't know if you saw the picture. They had the big L up and everything. So they did they did a good job, man. But I didn't see the Cubs being the same team that they were in the last few weeks. But I mean, it happened. They had no pitching. They went into the playoff series with no pitching, and I just felt like that was a big question mark for me, which a lot of them stepped up, though. Pomeranz, I didn't think he was going to step up. Tyler, I didn't think he was going to step up, and he did. The one pitcher that I felt like should have stepped up, it was Imanaga, and he didn't, dude. So
that's what happened, you're totally right. I mean, you got to understand the Cubs still went for them that most people expected, overtaking the Padres in the wild card round, even going 5 games with the Brewers. I know it's a heated rivalry. Both teams know each other. They don't like each other, especially with Counsell going with the rival Cubs. So you got this Brewers team that's been hungry. They know what to do, what it takes to overtake this Cubs team, and they did it perfectly. That's why they were the number one team all year round. And now the question is, can you take on that monster Dodger team for that championship series? Because that Dodger team is talented like no other, and they're deep from top to bottom. Now they do have some question marks in the bullpen, but now can this Brewers team get offensively hot with the way the Dodgers rotation has been pitching?
Yeah, I
That's
mean,
going to be the big question mark.
that's the huge question. And are they going to be able to, or keep up with their pitching and keep up with their hitting? Let's get into it now. I guess it's just the Dodgers and the Phillies. Did you think that the Dodgers were going to pull it off against the Phillies?
You know what? I mean, the Phillies, the way they were playing, man, they had everything to win that game for Carlos. It was this close. They can't believe it came down to a single error by Oren Kirkering. Man, what a bad way to go out for this Phillies roster. But other than that, I mean, this Phillies team was fighting for their life that last game, and it was a close one. Did you think that, or everything's put to blame on the pitcher for making that error at home?
No,
right?
No, that play, it's just it's kind of okay. So I'll give you my thoughts on that. That play should not have ever happened to him. That play should have not ever been a play to remember the playoffs for the Phillies, to say, oh, the Phillies messed up on game 4. That's why they lost it. No, they had a chance in game 1 to win the game. Remember, the first 2 games of 1, 2, and 3 hitter for the Phillies only got 2 out of 22 at bat. Like, only got 2 hits out of 22 at bats. Like, those are your big time hitters, dude. And you did not produce. You did not get on base. You did not do anything. The first game, they got 3 runs, and then they lost the lead. The second game, they had a chance to come back, and they didn't. Like, they just let it go. The Dodgers used their bullpen, and their bullpen was the ones that we said, if the Dodgers put in the bullpen, we're cooked, and it didn't happen.
Yeah.
So
we almost saw that in game. We almost saw that in game 2, right?
Yeah,
with Blake Trinan coming in.
Exactly. So it should have happened for the Phillies. They just didn't execute when they needed it. Now you get to game 3, they blew up that game, and you had Schwarber hitting 2 home runs, and we thought, okay, the next game, that's what's going to happen. They came out flat. They didn't score any runs. You knew that your pitching staff was going to hold Ohtani down, because Ohtani only went 1 for 17, dude. 1 hit out of 17 at bats, and the Dodgers still won the series. That's telling you something. Now, with Oren Kirkland, dude, I don't think that kid needs to be hanging, saying, hey, that was my fault, we lost. No, that game, yeah, if you would have made the play, you would have done it. But your team did not support you either. They should have scored some runs. They should have been able to put some runs up and say, hey, let's finish the first game. Let's get a W. Let's finish the second game. And then they would have not been in this predicament, dude. So you have a lot of question marks with the Phillies, hitting this offseason. It's not going to be the same team. This team has been together for 4 years now, and they could not produce it. They cannot win it. They cannot beat the Dodgers. And I did pick the Dodgers to win this series, but I felt like the Phillies were going to come better prepared than what they did, dude. And the thing, another thing,
totally. I had the Phillies winning this. Go for it. I mean, I had the Phillies winning, just a simple fact that the Dodgers bullpen couldn't get it going. But Dave Roberts, going game 1, he proved me wrong. He went all starters. He didn't give no damn. He was not going to give the Phillies any chance to win. And throwing gas now and Sasaki to close that game was like a eye-opener for me. I just never thought Roberts would ever do that. But, hey, man, he wants to win, and he was not taking any chances with that bullpen. So, big props to Dave Roberts for making these crazy moves, even though he made a questionable call in game 2 with Trinan. I mean, he was trying to see if he finally had his stuff. He didn't. Had to move on and go with Sasaki. That's just part of the game. Sometimes you go with these bullpen guys thinking, let's see what they got. And they don't. The first 3 hitters, you got to go on to the next pitcher. But Dave Roberts, a masterclass on his performance, picking the right bullpen guys. But you're right. This Phillies team just did not play. They didn't come out to hit. They were flat. They couldn't get runners on base and get them, leaving men on base is not going to win you no games. So. That was a huge issue for this Phillies team.
It was a huge issue. You think Dave Roberts listened to the video of me saying only starters are going to be in the bullpen?
I mean, I don't think there was probably other people also on his ear telling him the same thing, but Dave Roberts was definitely not like playing games this time. We did not even see Tanner Scott in the mound. I hope everything's okay. There's reports out there that he had to leave, but looks like he's going to be in the NLCS roster. So hopefully he could get his head right and come close out for the Dodgers, man.
Nah, I don't see it happening, dude. I don't want Tanner Scott anywhere near that mound unless we're blowing the game out. Then we can have him in there. But other than that, we don't need him in there, dude. I think the way
give him a chance.
The formula that's happening for Dave Roberts right now, using your 4 starters, in the game to start, and then you have your 3 other ones coming in like Kershaw, Sheehan, and Sasaki in the bullpen. If you need to put someone else in, you had Vesia out there, which he did pretty good.
He came in big moments and got some crucial outs, which is great.
Yeah. Let's look at the notable free agents for the Phillies, though. You got Kyle Schwarber, JT Realmuto, Max Kepler, Ranger Suarez. You have David Robinson, and then Jordan Romero, Walker Buehler, which we didn't get to see, Jose Alvarado, that's a club option, and then Harrison Bader, mutual option, meaning, he might be able to come back, but he got injured in the first game. And maybe it would have been different if he was in the lineup. It looked like he was, because it looked like he was on too. But you can't put that blame on that either. There were so many Philly fans putting out there, oh, they didn't count this strike. They didn't count that strike. Oh, look at the bad call here. It's like you get to nitpick everything, but at the end of the day, the team did not play the way they should have played to be the Dodger team. And there they are. They're going to face the Brewers, and that's the big question right now. Are the Brewers real? Are we keeping it that they're going to be the real team and beat the Dodgers, or the Dodgers are going to show up the big giant that they are? Because remember, it's the average Joes against the Hollywood stars.
Yes,
right.
And if you ever watch that movie, the average Joes do come up on top. So there's no reason why you should doubt this Brewers team. If you guys have watched baseball long enough, there's always upsets, and you cannot count out these Brewers. They're a streaky little team that they're the shortest guys in the roster, one of the lowest payrolls in baseball. They don't care. They come out and play. They could get hits, and they're going to do this for Bob Uecker. The baseball gods are on their favor, and these guys, if the Dodgers pitching can't get it together, if you see a little inconsistent with Blake Snell or Glasnow, or even Shohei, this Brewers going to eat them up. And if you guys know the regular season, the Brewers did sweep the Dodgers not only once, but twice, 6-0. I'm not saying that the Brewers are going to win. I still think the Dodgers will come out on top in 7 games, but I'm going to give you why the Brewers could still potentially win. Why? Because this Brewers team has been hungry, Carlos. They've been in the mix for so long. They know what the Dodgers do in these situations, and they know Dave Roberts well enough that they could figure it out if they really want to.
Yeah. And that's the difference. I feel like the Brewers can beat the Dodgers. Are they going to be able to do it? Are they going to be able to do it like they did against the Cubs? Because they were given a lot of opportunities to blow the game up as well, or come back in Chicago, and they did not perform. They didn't do it the right way. When the Cubs made errors, the Brewers took advantage of that. And that's when I'm looking at the Dodgers. When you look at the Dodgers and their defense and they make an error, the Brewers take care of that business. They steal second base. They bunt them over. They score that run. And that's the difference between the Brewers and the Dodgers. Now, the Brewers do have pitching as well. You have pitching, and are the Dodgers going to be able to play some small ball, where we're talking about when we said about the Mariners, we said, the Mariners need to play small ball if they're going to keep up with the Blue Jays. Now, this other series, I feel like the Dodgers need to play a little bit of small ball as well, because you're looking at a Brewer team that's not going to be taken lightly. They're not going to say, oh, I'm going to get on first base and I'm going to wait for the home run to happen. No, they're going to make it happen right away. They're on first base. They're going to steal. Next thing, they're going to bunt them over, fly out, boom, score the first run. Once you score that first run, more things happen. Havoc happens. So
yeah, man. They have some speedy guys in that lineup. You got Bryce Terang, Jackson Chourio, Isaiah Collins. You got guys that the moment you get on base, you're stealing right away. They win this game with speed, offense, and defense. And they depend a lot on their pitching. I mean, Jose Quintana is a great veteran to throw and eat up some innings. You got Quinn Priester, who's been a true pitcher this year. Amazing the way his season he's had. And then you bring up Mazeroski, like lights out. So, I mean, I think this Brewers team has enough to contend with the Dodgers. It's hard for me to put the Brewers over the Dodgers based on talent level, but this Dodgers team also has been struggling offensively right now. The way Shohei's been batting, that 1 for 17 and this DS was not great. Andy Pages has had 1 hit all postseason out of 24 at bats. I mean, that little squibbler to end the game, like that just shows how bad he's in that plate right now.
Yeah.
Freddie Freeman has not been the same as Freddie Freeman we know of. Teoscar went up to the third spot because he's performing a bit better and seeing lefties better. I don't know, man. This Dodgers offense also has to, because they depend a lot on the long ball. And if that doesn't happen, this Brewers going to beat you by the small ball quickly.
Yeah. And that's where the Dodgers need to tone it down a little bit and do that little smart baseball, which they do a small ball. They can't wait for the long ball to happen because then you'll be in trouble. So I didn't know that the Dodgers are going to go ahead and try to, take one game out there in Milwaukee. That's every team, of course, that's not at home, so they can take the full home field advantage. But with the Brewers, their pitching is a little depleted as well, though. They're tired. They went to Game 5, and they are at home. And do you see like I don't know? Do you see something happening with the Brewers because of that?
Yeah, you're totally right. I mean, also when not like the bullpen got taxed and they worked their asses off to win the series. And you got Uribe, one of their top relievers, going 2 innings in Game 5 because they needed him to do the best he can. Now the question mark, is he going to be available Game 1, which he probably will, but now his arm is probably tired. You got Brandon Woodruff, your top ace, missing the championship series with the lat strain. Unfortunately, he gave it a shot. If he's not ready, hopefully he'll be ready for the World Series if that was to happen. But man, this Brewers team, I'm really concerned based on the way they played the last 2 games on the road with the Cubs. I just did not like how they performed there. It was kind of questionable. I mean, they still came up on top, took out the top rival, but overall, this Brewers team has a deep roster. You cannot count them out. Dodger fans, if you're listening out there, please. I know you guys are the heavily favorites. You guys are the Mike Tysons, but there is upsets in sports, and that's what's the beauty of it. And even though they're 20th on the payroll, don't take this team lightly. This Brewers team could be a dangerous team if they really want to. They proved it in the regular season, winning 6 games. And this Dodgers team struggled against them in the regular season.
Yeah. And it happened. It happened during when the Dodgers had all those injuries. So I'll go ahead and say that, at least that, but they did get swept the whole series. It doesn't matter who was playing on the field. They were the Dodgers, the same team that they're going to face this weekend. And remember, in 2018, the Dodgers did eliminate the Brewers in Milwaukee in Game 7 to move to the World Series. And
they want vengeance.
So the Brewers want vengeance just like they want vengeance from the Cubs, which they already beat them up. Now they want vengeance from this one, and we'll see what happens.
And you got the baseball gods with you, Bob Uecker, man. Get this Brewer team in the World Series. I'm sorry.
Not only the baseball gods, though. You have the whole world against the Dodgers right now.
You sure
Everybody
do.
wants the Brewers to win. And if it wasn't the Dodgers, I would definitely pick them because I would be like, oh, this team is really good. But I take my chances with the Dodgers. They're at the end of the day, it is my team, so I have to root for my team. And I do see the Dodgers beating the Brewers. I don't know how many games it's going to take. I have to see the first game to understand where they're at. And once that happens, then I'll be able to say, okay, this is going to go this far.
Yeah, I see this going 7, and don't be surprised if the Dodgers are down 2-0. I'm letting you guys know.
It's a tough place. It's a tough place to play.
Miller Park is not an easy place to play. These Brewer fans are going to come out louder than Dodger Stadium. I'll promise you that. This team is hungry. They never won a World Series. People in Milwaukee, either they watch Green Bay all day or watch the Brewers. There's not much to do out there in Milwaukee. Just going to throw that out there. These fans are crazy. They're ready to watch their team make it finally. So I'm going to throw this out there. The Dodgers are going to be down 2-0 to start the series, but then that's where the Dodgers will come back and win in Game 7 to overtake them and finally win the crucial match they really need. But it's not going to be easy for this Dodger team. Just going to throw that out there. I would want to pick the Brewers, but based on talent level, if you match the rotations one next to each other, the Dodgers take the edge in almost every category right now. Either offensively, defensively, the Dodgers are just better. I mean, they are the number 1 team, salary-wise. That's why they spend out this money this year to have the best players, and that's why they should be the winners, right?
The only one that they don't take, though, is the scrappy factor. What I mean by the scrappy factor is like they can produce runs by the smallest things. And we talked about how small ball they really are. They can hit the long ball as well. We saw that yesterday against the Cubs. But the scrappiness of them, stealing bases, getting that bunt down, throwing a strike or walking a batter and making sure you get the next batter that's coming up. That's what the Brewers do so good. That's why they are where they are. And for the Dodgers, if they're going to match that up and they're waiting for the long ball, they're going to, at one point, they need to go ahead and say, we need to match them at their level. We need to be scrappy. We need to be making those plays as well, bunting my hitters over if I'm not hitting this pitcher, and be smart about it. So it's going to be a good series. Not only this one, the ALCS starts today at 5. If you guys are going to watch it, hope you guys remember to root for the teams that are on there. If this baseball's still not over, if your team is not on there, pick a side. Like be part of this baseball thing that's going on right now, because playoffs is really exciting. You never know what team's going to win. You never can be so safe and say, oh, the Dodgers are going to win the World Series. No, Ernie said it. He said, don't be surprised if the Brewers can go ahead and beat the Dodgers. And if it does happen, that's because the baseball gods wanted it that way. The baseball gods said, hey, this team has a lot of effort and they want to win it all. And this happened before, dude. It's happened a lot of years before this series, But yes, I have been seeing a lot of good games, though. That I will say. I will say that the pitching this year has been in a totally different level, dude. Super different level.
Unhittable stuff, Carlos. Guys throwing some, let's say Logan Gilbert's splitter is nasty. Tarek Scooble's changeup, unhittable. Just Savage's splitter. Oh my God. How do you even hit that, bro? That vertical angle, I'm just like, huh? How? He had the Yankee players full. They had no chance. A rookie sensation going into his 5th start had the Yankees Bronx Bombers fooled. How about that? I mean, it's just pitchers like that. And Mizorowski, the crazy fastball, stuff like that. You're like, wow, where is this great pitching? Never seen before for me, honestly. See these teams have that one ace, but for everybody, even the bullpen guys have been lights out. If we want to go into the next series now, we got the Mariners and Blue Jays. An exciting series that we're having, right? We have a Blue Jays team that has not been in the World Series since 1993. And then you have a Mariners team that has never won a World Series or even made it to the World Series. How are you feeling about this series, Carlos?
That one, I feel like I picked the Mariners on that series. But I think the Mariners, in order for them to win, and I'll give you my 3 key moments for them. They have to be able to put that bunt down. Doesn't matter how many outs there is. Doesn't matter how many strikes you have. You have to put that bunt down. You cannot
Dan Wilson, please play small ball.
You cannot go 15 innings against the Blue Jays. You cannot do that. The stress level is going to be off the roof. The pitchers are going to be overthrowing, and you're going to have a lot of pitchers going into the IL if it does happen again. So for the hitters, for the Mariners, and this is key for the Mariners to win, they need their top 3 hitters to hit. You already have Naylor hitting, but you need the big thumper to come through, which he has. You have Julio Rodriguez, which is like, where is he?
I mean, he had some great important games in the beginning, but then it just feels like something needed.
I still need more. I need a little hit here, a little hit there. I need a stolen base here. I don't know, something to pump and spark up the fans. And I did see it in this series. I did series, but then it kind of hit away with all these extra innings and all this extra stuff that happened. So Suarez, I haven't seen him at all, dude. Where is he? Does he need to cut his hair?
I think so. I'm not a big fan. Just gonna throw that out there.
I mean, they made all these moves. And they made the right moves. We talked about it during the season. If they went out and got these guys, which they did, they could potentially be in the World Series.
Right? Yeah, I mean, you're talking about this Mariners team that's built to win. Jerry DePoto got to give him my flowers. This guy went all out on the trade deadline to get the best players possible for his team. They have the deepest starting rotation. I mean, the scariest, right? Yeah. But somehow I feel like once it gets to the bullpen, like I have concerns every single time. Yes, the bullpen did their best against this Tigers team, but then this Tigers team offensively was also just not hitting. This Blue Jays team is totally different than this Tigers team right now. They're clicking in every cylinder. Vladdy Guerrero's not playing around. He's showing why he's that guy. And why is he worth that money? A lot of people gave him crap. Oh, he's lazy. Should not pay him. Hey, man, after taking out the Yankees loose, he deserves every single bit of that money, man. This dad was a legendary player as well. You got to give him props. He learned from the best. I mean, and then I got to give credits to Dalton Varsho, who did come from Arizona, playing lights out. Ernie Clement as well. Now you're adding Max Scherzer and Chris Bassett coming back from injury. and they're going to be added to the championship series. Now you got 2 extra starters who could eat up even more innings for this Blue Jays team, which could be a huge help. I don't know, man. I'm going with the Blue Jays in this one, Game 6. As much as I would love to see Seattle finally celebrate a World Series, I'm always worried with Jerry Dipoto and those Mariners, man. There's something about that team that's cursed for me, Carlos. I just don't see them going past this ALCS. It would be a great story, but man, this Mariners team always finds a way to screw things over, just the same way they were about to screw this Tigers matchup in 15 innings by not bunting them over. These are crucial little things that baseball is so important, man. The smallest things, sometimes these things are not even in the stat line, but those things matter the most. And I feel like Dan Wilson let me down, man, after seeing it 3 times. Not saying that cannot potentially happen. Maybe this series they'll finally bunt, right? But there's just something clicking with this Blue Jays team right now offensively. And Canada, I think they're ready, man. Yeah. Canada is going to be cheering for these Blue Jays. You have a whole country on your side, man. Imagine that.
That's crazy, dude. And then whoever's on the other side, whoever matches up, if they pulled it off, it's going to be even bigger, dude. I just want to say one more thing. I don't feel confident picking the Mariners. Like I said, for the Mariners to win this series, they have to be clicking on all cylinders.
Yes,
they haven't been clicking on all cylinders, but it hasn't happened. That's the thing. It hasn't happened for the Mariners. Ever since they made those trades, you're like, okay, now the Mariners are going to take off. Now the Mariners are going to win more games. Now the Mariners are not going to even make it close with anybody else from the AL West. No, they kept it close all season. They were up and down until finally they broke through. They won it. They won the division, but we haven't seen it here in this playoff run right now. We haven't seen be super dominant to where like they're blowing them out of the water. No, it's just been neck to neck. And the Tigers, remember, they lost the division. They beat their rival, the Cleveland Guardians. And I think that took a lot for them and say, hey, we lost the division. We had the division all season long. We beat them where it mattered. Now let's take care of business with the Mariners, which they didn't. They went to Game 5. And I honestly thought at one point after the Mariners didn't execute those bunts, I said the Tigers might be able to take it because of those errors. So I think that the Mariners need everything to be clicking, and I'm still waiting. I'm just that hopeful fan, I guess, that I'm saying if the Mariners have it clicking, they'll do it. And it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy.
I mean, this Mariners team, like you said, has an offense. You got to take advantage of that Blue Jays bullpen. I'm sorry. The moment they throw Chris Bassett, Max Scherzer, you got to take advantage of these veteran guys. They're past their prime. You got to eat them up. Jeff Hoffman also has been inconsistent all year. Yes, this playoffs he looked much better, but this Mariners team, if they're clicking, like you said, if Rosarena could finally get hot, or Julio, man, this would be a huge, huge contribution for this Mariners lineup. And then Colorado could just give you a couple home runs here and there, and this team is dangerous. But, man, I don't know, man. I don't know. As much as I'm going Blue Jays now, I'm like, man, you're probably convincing me. What if they do start clicking now?
I'm not trying to. I'm just trying to say, like, if they click, they haven't clicked. That's what makes it so hard for me to pick the Mariners, because I'm, like, saying, okay, I love the Blue Jays, dude. The Blue Jays have the good team. They're stealing bases. Look at Guerrero, dude. He freaking, that slide he did at home plate against the Yankees.
Beautiful.
That was just like, oh my God, that's just, I'm all in. And his team saw that and are like, well, if he's in, I'm in too. You know, so that type of moment, or those type of moments that you see your greatest player on the team do, sparks up the whole team. And they're like saying, I want to continue. And this team, I want to be able to push them forward and win with this team, because we got everything to win the World Series. So, and that's why I feel like, damn, why am I picking the Mariners? But like I said, they need to be clicking.
Carlos, you muted yourself, man. Yes, you're totally right. This Mariners team has to be clicking offensively. They just haven't hit as well as we expected them this postseason. But hey, everything could change based on matchups. You know, one series you you put it away and you focus on the new one. That's how baseball works, man. It's sometimes a mental game. The moment you have a bad series, you forget about it and move on to the next series and try to recreate something positive for this series. Carlos, how you good, man? How's the mic doing out there? Well, we do apologize. Looks like Carlos is having some mic technical difficulties. It's been a tough show for us today. I just guess we're not in our regular time schedule due to the game in 20 minutes. We did go on a little earlier today just to make sure to give you guys this breakdown of this past series. Talk about the ALCS NLCS. We have a lot of great stuff for you guys here. Make sure to
Can you hear
keep
me?
us on, subscribe and tune on. But yes, Carlo is back. Are you ready? 20 minutes away from the ALCS Game 1. Who do you have, Carlos, winning this Game 1, man? Uh-oh. Yeah, man. Carlos can't get his mic going. I do apologize for that, guys. But yes, Game 1 is on today. Bryce Miller starting for the Mariners. Kevin Gausman for the Blue Jays. Is going to be a great matchup. We'll see what team offensively could get it going. Two teams that have two offensive powers, and with Vladdy Guerrero and Kyle Raleigh battling it out. It's going to be an exciting series. But Carlos, are you back? Are you good, man?
All right, cool. I'm good. I can hear you.
All right, man. I don't know what happened there, man, but you went mute on us, and I was gonna start using sign language on you, man. Are you okay on us out there? Throwing some baseball signs maybe to get you going, But we're excited to be here, Carlos. Your last takes on who do you have winning Game 1 today? It's about to start in 20 minutes. We got Bryce Miller versus Kevin Gausman. Who are you giving this edge to on Game 1?
Dude, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and say the Blue Jays only because the Mariners are tired. But because of that tiredness, sometimes the Mariners can play a little bit better ball. But I think the Blue Jays are taking Game 1. I must say they're gonna go ahead and take this win because it's just gonna be electrifying in that stadium today. It's really electrifying,
Sure.
And sometimes that just gives you a 10th player out in the field. They say that in the 12th player out in football, right?
In Seattle.
In Seattle, I think here we're saying the 10th player is going to be a big time factor in this series. And I think it's going to be, for the Blue Jays, it's going to be Game 1. It's going to be electrifying for them, dude.
Yeah, for sure. I think Toronto right now is just clicking in all cylinders, and I don't see how Vladdy's going to let Seattle come here in Toronto and take Game 1 from them. There's no way.
There's no way, dude.
The way they're clicking right now, it doesn't mean the Mariners are done just based on one game. Remember, this is a 7-game series, guys, and there is a lot of baseball to play. You have to win 4 out of 7, and it's not easy to do. But we do got the Blue Jays playing really great baseball. Thank you guys for tuning in today. We had a lot of great talks with baseball with you guys today. Make sure to stay tuned for our next episodes where we'll be breaking down the championship series and then talk about World Series predictions too, man. There's a lot of baseball. Like 3 good weeks of baseball left, Carlos. What a season.
I think so.
It's been spectacular, and we've seen the best baseball I've ever seen in my life. So I just want to give props to these MLB players for playing their asses off. And we're excited to be here, man. If this is your first time listening, make sure to hit that like and subscribe. We're thankful for you guys. We continue to grow on this channel, and we're really, truly blessed to be able to talk baseball with you guys. Carlos, your last mentions, man. We got to get going. This game's about to start. Time to break down this barbecue. Is Game 1.
Game 1. All right. I just want to say thank you, everybody. Ernie held it down when I was in the mute. I don't know what the hell happened over here. I guess I pressed the button or one of the cables moved, and he kept it down. He kept talking, and he kept going. We are live. That's why a lot of people probably think, like, why is he still talking? Or is this live? What's going on? Just edit that part out. We don't do that here. We talk and talk and talk until we finish that hour. We are the power hour here at Real Talk Baseball, and we talk baseball all the time. And, of course, I do love that we have 3 weeks left, and then after that, we take our little vacation off, Ernie, and we'll be fine. All right, cool.
Yes.
You already said your last mentions. We all said our last mentions. From all of us here at Real Talk Baseball, I'm CarloBaseball. This is ErnieOrange. Real Talk Baseball, signing out.